Okay, today we're going to be going over module 4.3, proving lines are parallel. So if you go into our first example, they're asking you, are lines L and M parallel? So we have to prove that they're parallel based on some given information that's provided to us. So if you look at your diagram here, there we have lines L and M, and then you have that transversal that goes through them, and all 8 angles that are formed. So if you look at your given statement, they tell you that angle 1 is equal to 110 degrees, and angle 5 is equal to 110 degrees. So on your diagram, angle 1's right here, and then angle 5 is down here. So if you remember the angle relationships here, these two angles, 1 and 5, are corresponding angles. Now, in order for lines L and M to be parallel, these two angles, 1 and 5, have to be congruent. So based on the given information, since angle 1 is 110 and angle 5 is also 110 degrees, they're both congruent. So we can answer the question, are lines L and M parallel? You would say yes, because angle 1 and 5 are congruent, corresponding angles. Okay, so let's get to example 2. So they're asking you the same question, are lines L and M parallel? So using the given information here, they tell you that angle 3 is 110 degrees, which is right here. And they also tell you that angle 6 is 70 degrees, which is right here. So the angle relationship between angles 3 and 6, we say those two are same side interior. And in order for L and M to be parallel, they have to be supplementary or add up to 180 degrees. So if you look at the two angles, angle 3 and 6, being 110 and 70 degrees, if we add those two values up, we get 180 degrees. So that means since they're both supplementary, to answer the question, are lines L and M parallel? You would say yes, because angle 1 and 5 are same side interior angles whose sum is 180 degrees. Okay, so now let's get to example 3. We're asking the same question, are lines L and M parallel using the given information. So in this case, they tell you that angle 2 is 86, which angle 2 is up here. And they also tell you that angle 6 is 92, which is right here. And again, the angle relationship between these two, we say they're corresponding angles. And again, for lines L and M to be parallel, these two have to be congruent. But if you look at the two angles, angle 2 is 86, angle 6 is 92, they're not congruent, they don't have the same measure. So answering the question, we would say no, because angle 2 and 6 are not congruent corresponding angles. Okay, so now in your notes, you have 2 more problems. I want you to try them on your own and determine if the 2 lines are parallel. So you can pause the video, and once you're done, continue on with the notes. Okay, so now we're going to get into the last part of the notes, our 2-column proofs. And again, we're going to be proving a statement based using parallel lines. Okay, so here they give you a diagram. So they give you 2 lines, lines T and H, and then line L over here, which is the transversal, and the 8 angles that are formed. But first thing is you look at this sign right here between T and H, these 2 vertical lines. What that means is they're parallel. So they're telling you that the angles are parallel, and you want to prove that angle 3 is congruent to angle 6. Okay, so our 2-column proof here is already filled out for you, or most of it filled out. So they give you your statements, and then they give you a reason. So remember, the first statement you always write down is your given statement. So the given statement was line T and H are parallel. Reason here is that they're given. Okay, next thing we look at is they tell you that angle 3 is congruent to angle 8. So if you look up here, angle 3 and 8 are congruent, and the reason they're congruent is because they're corresponding angles. All right, so next statement they put here, they say angle 8 is congruent to angle 6. So if you look where angle 8 and 6 are, they're across from each other like this, which means that they're vertical angles. And again, vertical angles are congruent to each other. So they're the reason we would say the vertical angles theorem. So last thing we need to show here is they want you to prove that angle 3 and 6 are congruent to each other. So we show here that angle 3 is congruent to angle 8. Angle 8 is congruent to angle 6. So since 3 and 8 are the same, 8 and 6 are the same, means that 3 and 6 are also congruent to each other. So reason here, we would say that's the transitive property. Okay, so let's get into our next example. So again here, give you your diagram again, and your given statement is that the lines are parallel, and we want to prove that angles 3 and 5 are supplementary. And again, remember, supplementary means 180 degrees. Okay, so first statement that we write down is the given statement. So T parallel to H. Reason here, it's given. Okay. Angle 3 congruent to angle 8. So 3 here, 8 down here. So those are corresponding angles. And remember, corresponding angles are congruent. So on statement 3, it says the measure of angle 3 equals the measure of angle 8. And the reason we say here is a definition of corresponding angles. Corresponding definition means that they measure the same value. They have the same amount of degrees, both of them. Okay, now statement 4, it says angle 8 and 5 are supplementary. So it just abbreviated SU and double P right there. That means supplementary, or 180 degrees. So if you look where angle 8 and 5 are in respect to the graph right here, so these two right here, they're adjacent next to each other, but they also form a straight line, which means that they're both a linear pair. And what's a linear pair? It makes a straight line, which means that a straight line measures 180 degrees. So in statement 5, they put angle 8 plus angle 5 equals 180 degrees, and that's just what supplementary angles are. They add up to 180 degrees. Okay, so next part, they said angle 3 and 5 also add up to 180 degrees. So 3 and 5, they're right here, and they add up to 180 degrees because we say they're supplementary angles. And why are they supplementary? Because they're same side interior angles. Okay, so you have 2 more on your own. So try the next one on your own, pause the video, and once you're done, continue on with your notes. Okay, so now we're done with today's notes. So get your stamp for today's work and start on your assignment for the day.